Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Git Good at OpenRCT2. In this episode I will show you how to make a very basic roller coaster station. Now you can see I made 4 tracks here, and I will give each of these tracks a very simple station but in a different style. Now of course you can make these stations as crazy as you want, but like I said, the ones I will make here are very simple, and I think they should give you inspiration for how to build one really quickly. Now most existing coasters actually have an entrance on one side and the exit on the other side. So yeah, you could place one at the back, one at the front. Doesn't really matter, to be honest. I always like to place my entrance at the front, but especially if your trains also start at the front, then it's nice if the guests can immediately get in. Anyway, so yeah, I will first show how I usually make them in my mega park. So what I usually do is I rotate the entrance, also the exit, and I made a tutorial by the way in rotating your entrance and the exit, but it's easy to do with the tile inspector. You can simply select the entrance or exit, and then you can press the rotate button, and then you rotate them around. Now I always like to have a path following the station of the coaster. It's just so guests will actually be walking right next to the station. It's just something that I like to do, but this is also makes it easy to make a building around it. So for the queue path I do the same, just place it alongside the coaster. Now for the queue paths of these coasters I will just make it very simple. I will just make it pass under the coaster here, and here I will make it meet the exit path again. But of course for a real ride you could make the queue path longer. But yeah, this is just an example on how to make stations. So I'm not going to make the queue paths too fancy. Now here for example you could make a stair leading down from the exit somewhere like here, or you could place it here at the end, but that's really up to you. Okay, so now I've made the entrance and exit, I rotated them. By the way, when you use this method, I recommend tweaking the coaster until you're happy with it, and only then making the station, because if you change the track, then as you can see the entrance and the exit, they might disappear, and that's probably not what you want, especially if they're already in the building, and if you have also made paths invisible, then that can be quite a hassle. When you rotate the entrance and the exit, always make sure that the lower door is towards the path. So here you can see a low door, and here you can see a high door in the exit. So yeah, if you see a high door, you need to rotate it again. Now you see the lower door, and this is the correct orientation. So now we connect the queue path again, we connect this path again. Okay, I usually just make the entrance and exit invisible here. You can do that by selecting no entrance from the station style. Remember that if you do this, the coaster is no longer compatible with the original Rollercoaster Tycoon 2. But if you have Open Rollercoaster Tycoon 2, then you have no reason to play the original anymore anyway. So what I usually do is simply place wooden blocks here. You can also use another material. Then I go in the tile inspector, I make these paths invisible by putting corrupt elements on them. If you hold Ctrl, then click on the path, you select the path immediately. Might be a little time saver. You can also, use this button now to place corrupt elements on these paths, but I also have a hotkey for them. So if I now press Q when the path is selected, I can make them invisible. So, well yeah, under these blocks you'll probably want to have some something so that it doesn't just float in the sky. What I like to do is just put wooden post fences. You can also use a solid material, or solid block I mean. And then you could place something like this. This is a combination that usually works quite well. They're they're just called walls. By the way, if you mouse over this wall, for example, and then press Ctrl, then you can keep placing stuff at the same height. It's a huge time saver when building stuff. Okay, now for this part over here, there's this wall. I really like using this. This works great for stations if you want to make them look open. So just place them around here. By the way, just for clarity, I'm using disable clearance checks for most of this, for building this station. It just enables a lot more freedom. And it also allows you to place these walls here, for example, where the invisible entrance and exit are located. Okay, now, of course, on top of this we'll need to place a roof. What you could do is use one more layer of this and then put the roof on top. One trick that I really like to use, I saw Mackett do this. So we just placed another wooden coaster track on top. Let's give it a nice color. Well, yeah, nice color. Let's just make it brown. And I copy this piece and paste it here. And we build it here as well. I will just rotate this piece like this. And instead of putting the roof directly on top of these pieces, now there's something in between. So if we do like this, and we put a roof like this on top, and then on the sides what you want to do is fill in this gap. There are several ways to do this. You could, for example, use these wooden fences. Then with Tile Inspector you can select them and then angle them. So this is one way to fill up the gaps. But what I like to do instead is simply fill them with these roofs. So here we put a piece rotate like this, here we put one like this, then we place another one here, and here we fill up the gap, and we can then do the same here. By the way, you can use the Z key to rotate scenery items. Okay, there we have it. This very basic station, but yeah, this is one of my favorite designs to use. I can build these very quickly, and yeah, it's really a low effort but high reward, I think. Oops, I didn't mean to zoom out. Okay, well, if you want to decorate it further, I recommend putting some trim around it. So I just placed some of these wooden elements. Let's angle a few of them. So we simply select them and then we can angle them like this. So yeah, adding some trim, I think it really helps make the station look, well, it's It helps make the roof look nicer. You could add some more trim here to the side if you want, or you could use some of the other ones as well. But yeah, that's something for you to play around with. So yeah, this is really how to really quickly make a station. Now of course then you still have to do the rest of the queue path. Personally, I really don't like these queue paths. Well, if you're building realistically, then these don't really look like the real thing. You won't find any of this in a real theme park. So I usually replace them with something like the New York roof piece, or with I simply copy and paste a normal path over it. But since this is a tutorial on how to do it quickly, I will just use the New York roof piece. I made a tutorial on how to copy and paste a normal path over queue path, so I recommend checking that out if you want to know more about it. And then for this path, I would typically just use a River Rapids ride. So we built a River Rapids here, and we simply make some stairs like this. Give it a nice color. Let's do brown. And you could make a banner here. Let's use this one. Put some fences around the queue. Okay, there's your very basic station. Now, of course, this is not the only way to make a station. Not all stations have a roof that's pointy, so you could also make one with a flat roof. Let's do that over here. So I will first just make the entrance and exit, and again I'll rotate them. I'll use the same layout for these for the paths towards it. So for the exit, I'll just make it like this. And the queue, we follow the station again. Make a little stair down there. Now, something that will often look nice. I don't know if I have the correct walls here. I probably don't. Instead of using a wooden structure, you could also make a foundation for your coaster. Let me quickly see if I can find the wall I need. Okay, I had to search for it, but I really like to use the Georgian ground floor wall piece, but you could also use other pieces that look like a brick, or that look like stone, I mean. So I simply built this wall all around the base of the coaster. Like so. Let's make the entrance and the exit invisible. And right after that I'll make the paths invisible again. So we just select these paths. It's easier when you hold control, because then you can click on them and immediately select them. And what I then usually do is just take one of these New York roof pieces. Now, it might be a little bit glitchy here, but it's different when there's stuff on top. Again, let's just use these walls. So we just make these, put these around here. Not sure if black is the right choice, but well, this is just an example. Alright, let's go for brown. Doesn't really matter in the end. If you want a flat roof, I suggest just putting the flat roof on top like this. Then I would add a little layer of a different color around it. You could also just immediately go for a double layer, like so. So, very simple station. To make it look more interesting, what I like to do is add some fans to the roof. So I typically just place some blocks above it like this, and put some of these railings. So yeah, this looks like air conditioning, but this little thing already makes the roof look a lot more interesting. Now, you could play around a bit with the colors. It's really up to you how interesting you want it to be. You could also make a sign here, a wooden roller, or whatever you want the roller coaster to be named. So yeah, we'll go for some colors that are a little bit brighter, but yeah. You'll probably want to play around with the colors when you make something like this. Again, this is just a very simple example for a station. This is one that you can build in a few minutes, but it should already improve your coaster considerably. Now, if you want to make it even more interesting, you could, for example, add some wooden post fences in between these wall sections, and that already makes it look a little bit more sturdy. Again, it's all in the little details. Now, this is probably not the best choice for a wooden roller coaster, so let's quickly change this one to a different roller coaster. Let's do the corkscrew roller coaster. I think this is already a lot better. Alright, something like this. Okay, I think here I will build another coaster, but here I will use the log cabin roofs. Let me quickly see if I can find them. Okay, I will just start the station the same as I did for the other ones. Alright, now for the log cabin roofs, yeah, we could just use the same thing we did here, but yeah, to make it a little bit different, let's instead use these wooden blocks. It really doesn't matter what you use. You could also use wooden coaster track, whatever you prefer. Now here we have the log cabin roofs. Yeah, they just work really simple. You just put them on top here like this. You could also put a matching wall for the log cabin, but I didn't select it, so I will just choose something different. For example, you could put a little fence here or something like that. Just put something on top. try something else, like doesn't fit there, never mind. Put the skull here or something. But yeah, you should play around with stuff you put there. Alright, now I put a little dinosaur in there, but whatever, you can put whatever you want there. Again, a really simple station, just built in a few minutes, low effort. Again, you could put some trim around it, that'll usually make it look much better. Like this. Now I will disable the rain so you can see it properly. Or you could try some of these other Japanese walls. Something like this. But yeah, it's very easy to mix and match these elements, and they should give you a great station building in a few minutes. Nah, this probably doesn't look right. It's often just fun to play around with it, just throw some stuff against each other and see what sticks. Okay, now there's another type of station that I like to build. It's a little bit different. Yeah, let's just build the entrance and the exit on the... Yeah, I'll move it one tile. Actually, the exit can stay here. Now here's another way I like to make these stations. This is a little bit more advanced, but also shouldn't take you too long. So here I built a piece of reverse freefall coaster. You could select this piece over here, and you can copy and paste that here. Just rotating it, moving it down to the floor. Copy and paste another piece here. And let's paste another one on top. Move it a little bit higher. Let's take this right and remove the entrance. Now here you could make the foundation same as here. Okay, and something that I then like to do is let's build a piece of wooden coaster track here. I need to build it a little bit higher. Let's do it like this. Then you can copy and paste these track pieces here. Alright, you could even extend this a little bit more to the tiles right next to the station. And let's remove these supports. I do that by moving these track pieces under the surface. Okay, and then to fill up the gaps on the roof, let's use a car ride. You have to disable the support limits. Okay, let's make a little fence around it. By the way, if any of your walls peek through your floor pieces, it usually helps to move the floor pieces under the walls in the tile inspector. Then you can see the wall piece is no longer visible through the floor. Okay, and then now you sort of have a suspended roof. Again, this is just one of many ways to make a station. Usually I will have at least one station in this style. I also like to make some chairlift cables here that act like suspension cables that hang from these towers. Anyway, this is probably a bit too advanced for this tutorial. Okay, put some cables here as well. But yeah, this is just one of many ways to do this. Anyway, yeah, this is really these are really some simple ways to make basic stations. Yeah, if you spend more time on these, they will for sure look better. This is just the low effort way of doing it. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it's useful for you. And I'll see you again in the next one. See you later.